Where the hell am I? Place that I like to call Destination X.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the number one, the Right Reality Podcast. My name is Steven.
And my name is Mixie. We are back to recap episode 6 of Destination X, the most haunted castle in Europe. It's informational.
It's a statement.
It sucks, but at least they've stopped even trying. You know, like they've just accepted that the titles suck and we're just going to give a little bit of information. That's okay. You know?
That's fine. I understand that they've decided to move on. They could not please you, and they're like, we're just going to stop.
Yeah, we're just going to say a statement and be cool with that. And that's what that was. And, you know, it is what it is. I saw it and I go, okay. Okay. And we open the same way we always do, with random hills and mountains that I'm sure people that understand geography are like, oh, nope.
Not for you, is what you're saying.
It ain't me.
That's not you. Okay. Mixie did not know. That's fine. But we need to actually, before we get to episode 6, we have to go back to episode 5. We have to go back to episode 5.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. Tell the people what happened.
So we were informed that Kim was sick and she was not able to make her interview window.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved it to Friday.
Yes.
I went on Friday and did the interview, which you're about to hear. Mixie has yet to hear the interview.
I have been waiting so impatiently for this. And I know I'm not alone.
She was very excited. So at the beginning, you're going to kind of hear, like, she started to talk, and I was like, hold on, let me hit record so I can hear you talk about how much you love us. So you'll hear a little bit of that, and then we'll get into it. But the tease I want to put in here for Mix, which I haven't told her because I know I couldn't say anything.
He's been holding all of this from me. I've been like, how is Kim? I need to know everything. And he's like, I'll let you know when I can. I'm like, bull fucking shit.
Because here's the thing. If I told her she said a certain thing that's going to happen in here, Mixie would be like, you need to send it to me right now. And I was like, no, I want to see you react. Like,
I was already saying that anyways. I
have to see it. So there's a moment in this interview that honestly caught me off guard. I asked a question, like, as we talked about, I was like, it seemed like you were just over it. Did you want to go home? And you'll hear the answer to that. But the reason is very surprising, and
oh my God,
honestly, it's the best tea. It's the best tea of the season so far. It makes the Ty and Shane thing kind of look like a nothing burger at this point.
Oh my God, Steven, how the fuck have you been sitting on? I don't even know. Okay, are you gonna like bachelor me in the corner?
Because I want this. Actually, I think I might bachelor you in the corner. I might pop you up in the bottom corner when certain things come to light. And again, this is why I want to do that, because I'm always thinking about the content, you know?
My anxiety is through the roof. Please hit play.
And this is, again, why I didn't tell you.
Hit play!
Ladies and gentlemen, here is our bestie. All right, now I'm actually recording. Feel free to tell us how great we are if you would like.
Yes, I've been waiting. I've been dying for this moment. Yes, you're my favorite, aside from New Heights, but you're second, you know?
Yeah, sorry, I can't live up to the Kelseys. I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
you do.
Fair.
You do as far as funny goes, because I love you. Yes, you're great.
Well, we appreciate it. Welcome to the number one. Congratulations on the best part of being on Destination X, is you get to talk to us now.
Yes, it is. That is the truth. we can share the tea.
We can. The first question I have to know is, why must you be barefoot at all times?
Look,
of course.
I'm barefoot now. I am barefoot 99.99% of the time.
So
I mean, I'm in Hawaii. What do you think? I don't drive with shoes. I mean, I can't drive with shoes, actually. I just can't. I can't figure it out. It's weird, but we don't wear shoes. We definitely don't wear shoes in houses here. We don't. I think you guys call them flip flops. We call them slippers, but it's crazy because no matter what house you go to, in front of the front door is shoes and slippers. Nobody wears them into the house. That's just the culture, right? Your shoes are dirty. Why do you want to bring dirty shoes in somebody's house? They've been stomping on grass, dog shit. Who knows, right? Why
you take your shoes off and stomp on the grass, but okay.
House?
Well, when you were playing croquet, you're like, I got to take these shoes off to like feel the ground. It's like, oh, she's locking herself in. This is her croquet attire is barefoot, and you're just popping them off all the time.
I can't do anything in shoes, like nothing. No. I hike in slippers, which is flip flops. Everyone's like, you're gonna wear flip flops or slippers? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, you need some tennis shoes. I'm like, I don't even own tennis shoes.
When you were up on the super high thing doing the food thing, did you have what shoes did you have on there?
I had to wear tennis shoes. That was the rules.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be kind of a rule thing for safety reasons. Closed-toed shoes, yes.
I'm a rule breaker, so it was hard not to break that rule.
Mixie wanted me to ask you, based off our Smasher Pass episode, which I know you watched, have you ever been to Marco Island? Because she feels like you fit in Marco Island.
I'm going there. Listen, you don't even know. I haven't been there, but I'm a shell hunter, like seashells. And I didn't know where that was. I know 10,000 Islands. I think it's in the same kind of area. Is that correct?
Marco Island's like South Florida. It's like, just below Naples area.
Yeah. Exactly. And 10,000 Islands is like these islands with all these beautiful shells that you can go and collect, right? And
you can also go out to Sanibel Island, which is a little bit further north than that.
That's it. Yes.
I used to live down there. So yeah, that works out perfectly. Yeah.
So I'm going to go. Maybe I'll find me a man down there in that area.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. So we loved you because you had a bunch of one-liners, and we are a big fan of one-liners here at the number one. Our favorite, and I think the editor's favorite, was obviously as they were going to commercial, they put you saying, "Can we bag up those marshmallows?" So the question is, did they bag up the marshmallows for you to have on the bus?
I had to put them in my jean jacket pockets. No, they wouldn't give us. I don't know. I was like, this is all going to go to waste. Why are we wasting this great food? The marshmallows, if you've never had a marshmallow in Switzerland, you need to try it. Because, they can't compare to whatever we get here in America. So I filled my jean pockets up with whatever I could get and snacked on those. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you got to take at least a few for you on the road because that's super important, obviously.
Yes.
So we unfortunately lost you in this last episode. There's part of me that seems like you kind of felt like maybe you had done your time. There was a little part that maybe I'm looking at you and I was like, I think Kim might be over it at this point. How are you feeling at this point? Because obviously this is probably, you kind of had an idea of what the show would be at this point, but where were you standing mentally, at least at this point of the episode?
You hit the nail on the head. I watched your recap, and yes, I chose to make. I knew we were in Munich. I'm not gonna lie. I knew we were in Munich.
Yes.
There was a verbal altercation with another castmate a few days prior, and it was pretty ugly. And my decision to leave the bus was, can you imagine? I'm vocal for sure, and I'm gonna ride on a bus with somebody that I gotta look across at, and all I want to do is maybe pull her hair out. No. So I didn't want to either one assault anybody or two, stoop down to that level. And although I definitely wanted to defend myself, or lash back, you could say, I chose not to. And I didn't know how long she'd be on the bus. I was very confident that I could go to the end for sure. Even just in my gameplay, my knowledge, whatever, my common sense kind of stuff. I really believe that I would probably be their top 2 or 3, but I let somebody get into my head.
That's kind of part of reality TV, isn't it? Sometimes they use it as a tool, which kind of looked like it was
Steven, get
happening a
to
little
it.
bit this week with Peter being like, and listen, we agreed with Peter what he had to say. The moral compass thing is out when there's money on the line, you know, with all that type of stuff. So I agree with that. What was like, I mean, there was a while there where you just seemed like everything was the best thing you've ever done in your life. What is like one of those lasting memories that you're going to sit here and go, I can't, you know, obviously it's everything, but there's got to be one.
Who did she fight with?
You can't wait to tell everybody that story. And you've been sitting on it for months at this point.
I know, right? I have so many stories. Like you just don't even know. It was so, there were so many good times. I mean, there was, my biggest was the camaraderie for sure with, I mean, it was Shane, Biggie, Mac, and myself. We were really tight from the get-go. As far like bus time, we spent a lot of time just shooting the shit, laughing our asses off. I mean, we laughed our asses off, and it was really therapeutic in a way. But I don't know. I like to tell everybody. What do I tell everybody?
To me, it seemed like you eating the food up top because you're floating in the air, you're eating awful food, you're throwing it up, but you seem to have a ball doing it. That just seems like that's probably you no matter what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I do. I make the most of it. That is for damn sure. I talked about that on all my interviews for getting on this show. I talked about eating cow testicles because there was a show. I don't know what game show it was or what reality show it was. I can't think right now, but they had to eat cow testicles, right? And that was back in the day when I did, because I don't watch reality TV. But at the time it was one that I did. It was a solo kind of a thing. And one of their challenges was eating cow testicles.
It might have been the show that we recap, which is The Challenge, which has been on for 40 years. They make them eat weird stuff.
That is the one. There you go. So I remembered that because that was like the show that I watched. And for all my interviews, I said, when they would ask, oh, what will you do? What won't you do? Da, da, da. I said, well, listen, I'm not too keen on eating cow testicles, but I tell you what, if I got to, I'll eat the damn testicles.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they want to hear. They're like, say no more.
Right. And so then when we knew it was a food challenge and they're like, okay, Kim, you're going to be I'm like, oh, of course I am. Because I'd been talking about it for months. And funny thing is, had there been a tiebreaker, we found this later, had there been a tiebreaker, guess what was the tie-breaking food?
Cow testicles.
Yes! I wish there would have been a tiebreaker because then I could have said I ate those damn cow testicles.
Yeah, you just need to go to Oklahoma City, go visit Cattleman's restaurant. They call them lamb fries. I got a story about that I can tell you later that they tried to trick me and my buddies into eating. And we said, no, the taxi driver told us not to get them. So we knew what was coming. One of my buddies did partake. Everything's good when you deep fry it and pour marinara sauce over it. So
that's true. That is.
Okay, so as I know you're a listener of the number one, you know that you won at least one ass of the week.
Two.
Exactly. You won twice. So
the 60-year-old ass won. Can you believe it?
Well, we, as you know, they've been preventing ass from leaking through to the edit. So, you know, we had to find them, but you won. So what we always do whenever we have somebody on that has one ass of the week, we give them the ability to have an acceptance speech. So I'm putting you on the spot. But Kim, can you please give us your ass of the week acceptance speech?
My ass of the week acceptance. I'd like to take this time to thank gravity for allowing my 60-year-old ass to hang down.
Yes.
But still look desirable.
Yes.
I mean, let's be real. Gravity takes its toll at this age. So for me to still be
Kim.
Selected as the ass of the week. Woo! I'm gonna put that on my resume when I'm searching for a boyfriend. Hey, I did win ass of the week on a reality show.
Twice.
I mean, say no more. I that's all you gotta say, and then just play them the clip and then play them your acceptance speech. You're in. I love it so much. I love it so much. We have a few things left before we let you get out of here.
Okay.
You did say to Pete he hadn't found love on 2 different reality dating shows. Is there any advice you would like to give him at this point? Like any dating advice, just general dating advice for him?
Oh yeah, and he probably won't like it. I gave the first guy that left, what's his name?
Josh.
I gave Josh the same advice because both of them have problems. I know. Hopefully you won't hear this. I don't know, but
We're gonna.
Probably will.
Okay, so I gave them both the same advice. They're mama boys, like big time mama boys. And I asked them, "Oh, how come it didn't work out? Whatever." "Oh, my mom didn't like her." I said, "Dudes, you better tell your mom she needs to take a back seat because otherwise you will be alone for the rest of your life."
Kid.
You got to take a step back. It's great to be a mama's boy, but you can't have your mama picking your women.
Yeah, there's a difference. Like, she can like them and respect them. She doesn't have to love them, but she can't be picking them for you.
Yeah, so they needed, the mama boy part was kind of a problem.
All right, we got 2 left here because I see where we're at time wise. We know you like to ride alone. You said you're a ride alone type person on the bus. If you had to ride with somebody to the finish line, who would you have rode with?
Mac.
Okay.
Mac, for sure.
Another one-line queen.
For sure. And very intelligent.
Very intelligent, yes.
And sneaky. She's sneaky.
She's sneaky. I mean, we knew everything we needed to know about Mac at that very first interview. Like, I'm going to string somebody along. I did the public validation. I'm like, I love this person. I want to hang out with them all the time.
Absolutely. And I had her game from the day one, too.
Quickly, before I ask you the last question, was it weird kind of like living on a bus situation? Did this kind of fit you and your style? Or was this like very strange? Because I know Rachel was like, that's just not for me. But maybe the bus living situation didn't bother you too much?
Oh, no. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like camping, road tripping, close quarters. I like it's crazy. Even living, like, I don't need a big, huge house. I don't like that. I could just be in a little studio I'm not, but I could, and I'd be perfectly fine. I could have me and my 3 kids growing up in just a little studio. I like that closeness. So it gave us bonding time. That was bonding. We sang goodnight. We did the Waltons. Good night, Biggie. Good night, Shane. Good night, Camp. We did that every night.
Oddly enough, you called him Shane and not Loyalty, but that's fair.
I called him Shady most of the time.
Shady.
I hope to give him more airtime. He's so great.
I think he's going to get more airtime, especially next week. We'll see how that goes. So the last question I want to ask is, you mentioned a bunch of times about Coachella, that you had done Coachella. You got a good Coachella story for us in the 2 minutes we have left?
Coachella. Listen, I went with a girlfriend. We went together, and I'm all about music, dancing, like having a good old time. And she was pissed because, she wanted to sit in the beer garden or whatever. I'm waiting 11 hours up front. I'll wait. I stood 11 hours to see Doja Cat. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to dance out to Doja. And she ended up leaving. She left after the first night. I came home at like 2:33 in the morning, and she was all pissed. And she had her bags packed. She's like, "I'm leaving tomorrow." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "So we need to leave." I'm like, "Peace out. You can have a good trip." And I stayed and enjoyed. I was by myself, and it was the best. The whole thing was. I'm going to Stagecoach this year. Yeah, I'm going to go to Stagecoach because I'm like doing a country vibe lately, and so I want to go check that out. But yeah, I have no problem. It's better by yourself. You don't have to. You can't disagree on who you want to listen to, where you got to be. No, you do whatever the hell you want, and that's what I want to do.
We love that. We love that. We love you. Obviously, you've been one of our favorites from the beginning. I'm glad we got to do this with you. Spend time. If you're ever in LA, let us know. Would love to see you.
Yes, and tell Mixie I said hi. I love you guys. I think you're great. Tell her for all the she said nothing but amazing things about me. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're good on TV, we like you, unless you got a giant tattoo across your chest, and we poke a little fun at you. That's what we're about here. We like to have fun. It's all in fun. It's all in good fun.
Block letters, like if you're gonna have that, like duke it up.
Yes, Kim. Thank you.
We appreciate you. We love you, and hopefully we get to see you in person sometime.
Okay, me too. Thank you. Keep doing good stuff.
There you go. The interview you were all waiting for, and see, it was worth the payoff of Mixie not knowing that stuff until now. You saw her genuine reaction right on camera. There's so much to talk about.
Guys, tea. Fucking tea. Okay, first off, how was she even better than what we thought she was?
Correct point.
Kim, will you be my substitute grandmother? She died when I was very young. I've never had one. Will you please be my grandmother? Although you're way too young to be my grandmother.
That's true. But
I
feel like I heard her say yes.
Okay.
As she's listening to this,
I felt it in my toes that she said yes.
There you, in your bare feet.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
I would show you I am barefooted, but you need to pay for that. So much to
Yeah, where would you like to start with the fact that she knew where she was and she had gotten into an argument with somebody, so she basically self-eliminated? And I know what people are saying. Why didn't you push her on who it was? Well, here's the thing, guys. I felt like she wasn't supposed to say that, and NBC Communications is on there, and she basically said she threw a thing and then lied that she didn't know. She thought she knew where she was going. And I didn't think she was supposed to talk about getting into a verbal altercation with somebody
that they didn't
which maybe
air.
led to a fight that they didn't air.
So clearly it was bad.
So clearly
because these reality shows love a verbal altercation.
Yeah. So they didn't air it. And I was like, well, we can piece it together.
If you listen closely, you might be able to figure out.
Well,
I got there halfway through. That's why I stopped asking Steven when she was going to tell us who it was.
I was like, okay, got it. And then in my head, the whole time she's answering, I'm like looking at the bus, and I'm like, it could be these people. It could be these people. Okay, I know Allie and Mac are out because literally they were just seeing her in Hawaii that day. And the day before. They were with her the day before this interview. So I'm going to guess if you got into a verbal altercation with somebody on the bus and self-eliminated, you're probably not welcoming them to Hawaii.
So I'm going to DM Kim.
So we have a certain number of people left. And then she says she. I'm like, who's the other female? Oh. There's only one other female left, and then I think we can all put that together. That would be Janae. So, unofficially, she got into a verbal altercation with Janae, and they didn't air it, and she was like, fuck it, I just want to go home at this point, is what I took from all of that.
Sorry, I'm messaging him. Stand by.
Well, this is, again, another reason why I did not... I wanted to message her right after and be like, okay, can we...
But you knew I was going to see it.
But I know Mix would see it and be like, you need to tell me what's going on. So, again, we do this all for content. It was amazing. It was such an enjoyable time to be had. I'm sad you weren't able to do it.
If Kim answers, it's unlikely that we will air the dirty laundry out, but...
Yeah.
I have to know.
Mix has got to know. Mix has got to know. And I honestly thought we were going to get an answer maybe tomorrow from real time based off some stuff that was going to go on. And that now it's not occurring. So a lot of moving pieces with all of this.
Yeah.
So
Steven and I are running a fucking triathlon in the background for you guys right now that you aren't aware of.
You have no idea what's going on. Just sprinting. Oh, and then we have real jobs.
And also that. And then also
both of us out today.
McBee McDynasty, McBravo on McMondays. If you haven't checked the new episode, it dropped. Episode 1 is out. Guys, watch this show.
I'm sweating thinking about episode 2.
Watch this show. That's all I'm going to say. We'll go back to Destination X now. Thank you, Kim, for an incredible interview. Of course it was. Let's get into episode 6.
We shall, Nipsey. We shall. We start with them saying in the preview for this episode, the twist.
Yes.
The twist of that. And I'm
Wish
just
they
going to
had
say,
waited.
no. They should not have told us that.
Absolutely.
What are you doing? Now, obviously, they felt like they needed to tell this to us for some reason to hook us in.
Yep.
You could have just showed us the fight again from last week with Pilot Pete and Loyalty, and I would have been back in. I didn't need to know this twist.
I agree.
Because now I'm going in the map room knowing certain things, and I don't want to do that the same way I don't want to see where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not EPing a reality TV show, which is incorrect, and me and Mix should both work for you. Hi, everybody who works on the show.
Yeah.
Hi.
And
Hi.
what's upsetting?
We love you, by the way.
What's upsetting is great plot twist. Fantastic television production move here.
Yes.
By doing this. Incredible. And it pays off tenfold at the end. We'll get to it at the end. But I agree. For them to ruin this in the beginning was a miss. And maybe they're struggling with retention. And that's why. But to me, there's other things that you could have teased that could have kept people. It was a great move, and they fumbled it in the beginning, and it made it at the end not as enjoyable as it could have been.
I agree. There has to be some sort of like reality TV show consultant that says do this because you're going to hook people through. Respectfully, I don't think there's many people who are just starting to watch the 6th episode of the show and need that as the hook. I think they're already here.
And you could also have
the
cut
payoff.
100%. You also could have cut Jeffrey D. Morganoff at the person that's the closest and then cut him off.
Yeah.
That would have hooked
like,
everybody
what?
the exact same way,
They
and we
get to do
still
what?
would have watched the whole episode being like, what happened to the person that was closest?
Yeah, and maybe we could also like deduct that maybe they get to do something, but we've never seen this.
Yeah.
You could ADR him also saying something crazy, being like, and for the first time ever, you don't know something about the map room. Like ADR something, and
the map room means something different now, or something like that.
Yes. The map room doesn't mean what you think it means this time or something. We can get into all that because I also have a little potential conspiracy corner.
Oh, Steven, so do I.
I think we might both have the same conspiracy because...
Does it have to do with a mirror?
Does it have to do with the mirror? No, it has nothing to do with the mirror.
Oh, mine's about a mirror.
Oh, okay. Mine's not about a mirror. Mine's about the map room.
Hot
Stay
take,
tuned, boys
Steven.
and girls.
All right.
Stay
Let's
tuned.
get into the beginning of this episode, past the preview that they kind of fucked up. If there's one thing we need to know about Loyalty,
Yes.
it's that this man hates a handshake.
Hates a handshake.
He will not have another handshake by Peter. He says, how many times are you going to shake my hand, bruh? Also, bruh.
Bruh.
Eh.
How many times you gonna shake my hand, bruh?
Bruh. Just listen. And Kim,
Sound like a guy who's definitely not a player anymore.
nope. And
Not
Kim said
shaking
that
men's
we're
hands
missing.
and not saying player. I get it, but honestly, this is part of reality TV that you also didn't agree to last week, that you didn't think that was a thing. This is a thing. So
Bars. Kim also said we're missing a lot of Loyalty's personality or whatever. I feel differently.
I think I got it.
I think I got it from the little pieces of information like that. I feel like I'm on the right track.
Yeah, I don't need to know everything about somebody.
I'm good.
And yes, the more you get to know somebody, the more you know who they really are. I'm okay. I don't need to know everybody. There's a lot of people in the world, and I don't need to know all of them. And also, doesn't make for good content that way. So, I mean, come on.
There was a moment here at the beginning, before we got into this haunted ass fucking castle, where Biggie just slides in a comment about Mac.
Oh, yes, I did.
If Biggie says he would take her out in the real world, I need it. I need a Biggie Mac hookup. What?
I need it. I also, this was 4 minutes in.
Uh-huh.
And after he said that, he goes, Mac's like my favorite person. And I was like,
same.
What are you about to do to Mac? 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 Because people don't say that on reality TV unless they're about to do something to the person they just said. I've watched enough reality TV to know that you're about to do something to Mac. And what are you going to do to Mac? Am I not going to like you now because you're about to do something to Mac?
Well, I was hoping that what he did to Mac was something that they couldn't show on screen. You know what I mean?
Ooh. No, that wouldn't have happened.
Not what happened.
Not what happened. Nope. Why would it be something good? Obviously, it had to be something bad.
Of course it had to be something bad. And it gets
Because
even worse.
If they actually did something, Mix, they would have just not shown us any character development about their relationship whatsoever. And it would just happen, and then they were making out all the time, like we've already seen on this show.
Well, that just happened out of thin air. I still have no context to Loyalty and Allie. Literally zero.
Origin story. I need an origin story. I need an origin story.
And all of us know that that shit is all on recording. I also need to know what happened in this fight, but we're just going to put it on the list.
Yeah, we
release the tapes.
A lot of answers this week. Thought we were going to get a lot of answers this week.
I have more questions than ever.
I was feeling good about the questions I had because I was like, oh, I'm going to get answers this week. No answers this week.
Even more questions. And Steven, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about haunted houses?
No. Cool. No. Would have been fine in the courtyard. You put me in that creepy castle?
I'm out.
If I was Mac and I got out first and I had to go into the dungeon by myself, you better believe I'd be holding on to a producer or a camera person. There's no way.
Oh, I'd make a camera person stay in there with me the whole time. Absolutely.
I am backing myself into a corner, a safe corner where I know there's no trapdoors and nothing can pop scare me, because that would break me. And then they'd have that on camera and I wouldn't do it. But Steven, you used to run a haunted escape room company.
No.
I know, but I knew how everything worked.
That's the spoiler. See, you do like spoilers.
I knew how everything worked because I played it and then they trained me. But you better believe when I went in there for the first time, I blacked out for the 45 minutes I was in that game.
Steven, how many times have you been like, we should do an escape room? And I go, absolutely not.
We can do a safe
I don't care.
escape
I
room.
don't fucking
A
care.
safe escape
You don't
room
lock
that's
me
not
in a room.
creepy.
Absolutely not.
No, we're doing one.
Absolutely not.
We're doing a safe one.
I need like
that's
$1,000 of donations on this YouTube video for me to even consider.
But if it's like a fun escape,
no.
What if there was a Destination X escape room?
I'm sorry. There's no such thing as a fun room that you get locked into where you have to answer riddles from a clown to get out of. I'm out.
There's no clowns.
There's always a clown. There's a clown somewhere.
Never a clown.
The clown is probably watching you in the fucking cameras. No.
Okay. No clowns. We'll not go to a clown escape room. What about...
There's always a clown.
There's the South Park escape room.
No. I'm locked in a room. I'm out.
No, technically, the room is not locked.
Okay, here we go, Steven. If there's an escape room that I can leave when I want to, I'm there.
It's not an escape room.
Cool. I'm not there.
Oh, you're not there.
No, I need an escape room that has a door that if I decide I don't like it, I can walk out of it and I don't have to talk to a camera and be like, please let me out of here.
Oh, most of them are like that.
No. You're not going to sit here and tell me, oh, no. When you were in charge of an escape room, somebody got mad at all their friends and they're like, get me out of here. You just hit the unlock button, no questions asked. Shit.
We're going down a rabbit hole, but at our place, there are emergency panic buttons by the door, and if you hit the button,
cool, I'm walking in and hitting the button.
Unlocks.
The door's not even closing all the way before I hit that button. I'm out.
How much would you need to play the escape room I used to work at, where you put a bag on your head when you go in the room? You put a hood on your head. We put you in the room.
No!
It's pitch black.
This is going to
You're in a
surprise a lot of
cage.
people. I have control issues.
Raise your hand if you were surprised by that.
In no way, shape, or form are you putting me in a bag voluntarily.
Oh, God, that would be... again, the donations need to be off the charts. I don't
It's
think
not
Mr. Moneybag
I honestly
Morales
don't
has
think
got
there's a
that.
donation amount. I really don't.
Okay.
I'm not trying to discourage the donations, but it's a no-go from your girl. I'd rather
think we
snort
can get
cocaine
you-
on camera to never get a job again in my life than go into an escape room. Drugs are bad.
feel
Don't
like-
do that. But I'm just
Yeah, drugs-
saying.
I don't think that would actually not get you a job anymore based on what's happening in the world right now. That you can get any job you want. So... Yeah.
Anyways, fuck a haunted castle. Fuck an escape room.
No to the rooms. No to the music room specifically. The music room, library, I'd be okay with. Library, fine. Music room, get me the fuck out of that music room.
All of this was creepy as fuck, and I hated every second of it. Hilarious little comedy moment, though, when Jeffrey Dean Morgan says, "What the hell are you waiting for?" And it goes into pure chaos.
Yes.
Mac just like throws a bucket. People are just running.
It was like they told them, all right, you guys are going to run 3, 2, 1, run. And I'm not going to say they did that. I'm going to choose to believe they were really listening to Jeffrey Dean Morgan at the moment. And they knew Jeffrey Dean Morgan is always serious. And I have to always listen to Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
He's the voice of God here. He is their God in this current moment.
It was fun. I would have liked to do that. They were trying to figure out these posters on the wall that at first seemed overly complicated when I was looking at it. And then I just took, I don't know, like 20 seconds and was like, okay, I kind of see where we're going with this. But nobody was going to look at that and not be running around to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy knowing what the end of this episode is and knowing that if Mac had just looked up, because she would have killed those little fucking symbol things.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean she wouldn't have been like, get out on the second one or the third one. Because I remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about the Eva Longoria, Jennifer Aniston.
We're never going to go an episode without mentioning these fucking clues.
And we said they have to get more complicated than that. And what Destination X did was they go, we got you.
Yeah, I will give it to him. And I'll also say all the clues this episode weren't spoon-fed, except for one that I'll go into a corner about later.
Okay.
They weren't spoon-fed. I appreciated the clues this episode. I appreciated the city they chose for this episode. We finally are going a little bit off the beaten path here.
Maybe they weren't able to get the permits for the other city. I don't know. Maybe,
I don't care. I'm just glad it wasn't like fucking Paris. Like, we get it. You know?
So we get the clue in the book room, the library. And our good friend, Professor Rick, is like, oh, it's like Edelweiss. Like, I know that. It's the thing of freedom.
Fucking
and I'm like,
Rick.
How on earth?
It's the drones. The drones speak to him.
Normal people know what the fuck that is to begin with.
Well, they don't. That's why fucking Peter and Loyalty are standing there like, what the fuck?
I get Loyalty not knowing, but I thought Peter might, be able to be like, huh?
Peter doesn't strike me as someone that
freedom.
reads.
I think he reads. He's a reader, I think. But
I can
I'm just
see
like,
him listening to audiobooks, but reading is a no-go on my read on Peter. I don't
Peter,
read
let
either.
us know. DMs are open. Mixie, have you heard of Edelweiss before?
Is that even a question?
Mixie, spell Edelweiss. Now, I'm asking her this. You might think I'm a dick. It was on camera.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. So don't think I'm a dick for asking her when it was on camera.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Let me I have to write it out. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. And for the people at home, this is your time to guess exactly how many letters she's going to get. So everybody be thinking, she's writing it down.
This doesn't seem right. But I also want to say, for those of you that are brainiacs like me, did you guys watch the spelling bee this year? That shit was fucking electric. Electric. I could do a whole podcast on the spelling bee. My brother and I watch it every year. Shout out to my brother. We FaceTime and we try to guess the spell. I didn't get one. Well, not a one.
Again, raise your hand if you're surprised.
Okay. You guys got to mark your calendars for the spelling bee. Also, I'm going to use my clout for a second. If anyone could get me tickets to next year's spelling bee, I've been so deep in Reddit. You have to know a kid that's in the spelling bee to get tickets, or you have to work for whatever the company is that does it. Scripps. I watch
Where
it.
did I used to work, Mix?
Steven, can you get me 2 tickets to spelling bee? Holy shit. I already started DMing kids that got in like the last 10 spots to see if I could get in with their families.
There's something wrong with
respectfully.
That.
And I immediately I said, to whom this may concern, because I know it's not the kid right. Listen, I just really want to go to, okay.
Shout out Scripps. Hold on. Maybe we'll make this a social clip. Scripps. Mix and her brother.
I will do
big
anything.
spelling bee people.
I will do anything to go to the spelling bee. Like, I can't stress to you enough. Anything. I will be your vessel of whatever you want me to be.
Mix can do interviews for free. We'll
Put me to
go
work.
and do a live taping of the pod there.
I'll interview these kids, and it'll be really wholesome and nice. I can turn it on. I'm from the Midwest. I can turn it on.
Yeah, she won't pretend that she's a mother working on Mother's Day to get bigger tips. Won't do that.
That's a different version of me that you will not see at the Scripps spelling bee next year. It was the 100-year anniversary. I was really expecting fireworks. They didn't do it. I was upset. We're at 101. We got fireworks this upcoming year. We got me at the spelling bee. Okay, what's the word? I wrote it out, and I still, from my write out, don't know what the word is.
Edelweiss.
EDILVISSE.
I should have wrote down what you did. I did that incorrect. One more time.
For the people in the back. EDLILVISSE.
I lost you in the middle. EDLI.
LVISSE.
To confirm,
I don't think I want to.
LI LV ISSE.
I think the letters are there.
Sure. The correct spelling, you made it to the second letter. It's ED.
Is it an I?
EL W.
What?
EISS.
I hit the double S. I hit that double S.
You did, and then you added an E at the end, but you got that double S. I put it in the chat so you can see what it actually looks like. Better than I thought. Better than I thought, Mix.
See you guys at the Scripps spelling bee next year.
Can you? Okay, hold on. Scripps spelling bee. We're already giving you content ideas.
No, I will not embarrass myself on the Scripps.
We're going to give Mick some of the words that the kids spell and just show at what level they are versus a grown woman holding down a powerful job. Okay? And Mix will be a woman on the street being like, listen, here's a word. Did you guys get it? Guess what? I didn't get it either. I'll be the cameraman.
I will constantly be the person that says, I didn't get it. It's okay.
It's okay.
I'll be that chick in the brooch. This is so specific. The girl in the brooch that once they get the ding and they get kicked off, that she tells them that they're an inspiration and that everyone's so proud of them. That's me.
Oh, you want to be her?
Well, just because I spelled everything wrong. I don't even need to say those words. They just have to look at how I spelled everything.
Yeah, you will be off camera. They give the word and then you spell.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And then as they walk to you, you go, hey, look how badly I got it.
You were
So
only...
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I'm an adult who owns a cat. You know? So
boy.
you got time to figure out that word. I haven't even heard of the word.
Edelweiss.
And you got it. Basically, you were one letter off.
I should have asked you the language of origin, and I would have gotten it then. That was my fault.
I didn't know the answer to that. I would have made something.
Well, I guess it's Salisbury.
Oh, God.
Salzburg?
It's a Salzburger?
Salisbury steak?
Those are delicious. Those are delicious.
Listen, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Fuck a riddle. Fuck spelling. Fuck all this.
I was thinking of that as this was airing. I go, Mix is hating this riddle.
Livid.
She hates a riddle.
And also, again, by knowing what happens at the end, I'm pissed for Matt because I know if Matt got into one of those two rooms, she would have crushed it. She would have been totally fine.
Now, this is the point after they got Mozart and after they got Edelweiss, which I'm sure happened organically. We get to the other room where there's two people left.
Rick!
It's Professor Rick.
Allie did great too. No shade to Allie, but man, was I pumped for Rick.
Rick was doing good. Allie wanted us to know, because I know what you think about Allie. You just look at her and you're like, oh, she's just all beauty and no brains.
It ain't it. Yep.
She wants you to know that she's diversified with her knowledge. Astrophysics, metaphysics, archaeology. I said, never heard of metaphysics before.
I'm thinking, so okay, I thought it was like the physics of Facebook.
I can't argue with that. She's an influencer, so she's got to know the physics.
She knows the insights. She knows the analytics. She knows how to post on Facebook.
She knows, like, what if I still need to be posting hashtags on Instagram.
Exactly.
You know? She follows that Mozari guy or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah.
That's the correct response. So, Mixie, now the question for you is, since we already did spelling, what do you really think metaphysics is?
I'm dead serious. I really think it is like the back end of Facebook. I think it's a fancy way of saying that.
Now, I'm going to need you to hold on to your desk because you might black out as I tell you the answer for this. Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy, I might have lost you right there, that deals with the first principles of things, including abstract concepts such as being, knowing, substance, cause, identity, time, and space. And if you are just as confused, if not more confused than before, welcome to the family.
I'd argue that the metaphysics I thought it was is more impressive than whatever the fuck you just said was.
I would agree with you. A lot of times when you get a definition of something, you look something up. You're just like, oh my God, I now know what that means.
Uh-huh.
I have never gone basically completely back the opposite way.
Steven, they put a bunch of words there that meant nothing. The beginning of it is saying it's basically the study of things that you can't comprehend.
Yes, abstract concepts. Yeah. So we're going to name something abstract about something that's abstract.
And you can't understand it, but that's what you studied, was the thing that is not possible to understand.
My computer brain just reset. I did like a control.
It's too late in the night. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten this full blast 8 a.m. with an Adderall in me. You know what I mean? Like, I still wouldn't have gotten it.
I just want to say this as well. Can you imagine, like, being, like, that smart about stuff and also hot?
And the ass for days. Ass for days.
It's just, what a wonderful life some people live.
Couldn't be me.
Nah.
This is where I won't go to the conspiracy corner because we'll go to the conspiracy corner for you.
Oh, well, you could have your own conspiracy corner. I know what it is now.
I'm not gonna, because I really don't think it's a conspiracy.
Okay.
Allie holds up a vase to a mirror.
Yeah.
And decides to look in the mirror to see that the word on the vase is backwards. Bullshit.
Okay. Yeah. You're correct. Allie,
How
we love
long were
No
they in
shot.
that room putting 8,000 things on that box until production was like, look in the mirror?
Yeah. There's a certain line in there that maybe things don't always appear the same way.
What if you held something up to a mirror?
Now, as somebody who used to work in an escape room and worked in an escape
Boo.
room that was featured on The Bachelor, and seeing the edit of what they put on The Bachelor versus what I know was shot,
It's impressive.
and the amount of times we reset that clock so they could have more time in the room. This is smelling like a similar situation.
They were in there for 3 hours at least.
I don't know if it was 3 hours, but they gave themselves a shot. There might have been a stop down to change some batteries, perhaps.
I think cards needed to be swapped, Steven. I think they ran out of data on the cards. I'm sorry. And I think Allie is very smart. I'm not judging her. And I think Rick is also smart. There is no fucking chance in hell that she just happened to look in the mirror while also holding this vase. I'm sorry. There's no chance.
She's yelling at us right now, being like, I did. And respectfully,
And if
we
that's
love
the
you.
case, you're an icon and you truly can surpass anything my brain can comprehend, because there's no fucking way that happened.
But you know what, Mix? Me and you don't know metaphysics.
I still don't know metaphysics.
I don't ever want to hear the word metaphysics ever again. If somebody says the word metaphysics to me, like if I'm listening to this while I'm driving,
I'm pissed.
I'm off the road.
Yeah.
Because my brain may be shut down again. And that's honestly dangerous. So I won't listen to this episode for safety.
And I think that's fair. I hope everyone pulled over for this section of the podcast. You can now drive again, because Allie, by her genuine own self looking in the
Yes.
mirror, figured
Yes.
out that it was a salt shaker.
Yes. Out of all the things in the room to hold up to the mirror.
She held up the right one, God bless, and all by herself, and she got that salt shaker and she put it on the box and she got let in. And then she gets a message from Mr. Jeffrey D. Morgan saying, you get to bring one person up into your bed in the castle.
Jeez. I wonder
Golly
who's gonna be.
gee. Who's it gonna be?
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy, I hope they go to a commercial break, because the suspense is killing me. Who could she possibly bring up into that castle with her? Could it be parking lot sign? No way.
I like this move. The scratching of the head with one finger.
What could she possibly do? Oh golly. So she invites a parking lot sign up into her room with her.
I'm like, they're sleeping in the bed. They're sleeping in the same bed. By the way, Shane basically won the show at this point. This, I think, was better for him than potentially winning the money.
We're going to get there.
Because
We're going to get there. At the end of this episode, we're going to get there, Steven. Don't you worry.
So they banged, right?
100%. I have that written down.
Okay.
I said they fucked,
Okay.
right?
Okay, all right. And just making sure that people don't think we didn't like talk about that and think it's so obvious that we don't even need to talk about it.
Yeah, they 100% fucked in this castle. But before they did that, we had a classic Bachelor moment here, Steven. We had Allie run up to Loyalty, got a double butt scoop becoming this week.
Let's go!
Of the week.
That was for the number one.
1,000,000%. Finally, a zoom out. Finally, we're not punching in. We realized we're at the 10 o'clock time slot. We can get a little ass grabbing. This is the most I've liked Shane this entire season. Finally.
And they went side profile for it, too. They went to the side for you to see the double
They had
scoop.
a little on the back end, too, but they
That-
cut out
and then
real
they went-
quick and went side.
Yeah, they did. They did. They went to the side view. And I knew we finally got an ass of the week. A real ass of the week.
I didn't have to cut through all the shrubs to find a booty in this episode. It was
now, Mix,
refreshing.
unfortunately, I did not screenshot it. But I thought there was going to be a little competition for Ass of the Week because right after it, 1837, and you're going to see it here on screen right now, Janae sideways in bed with a side under ass shot with the very tight pants. I thought could be a contender as well, but I was also like, we got like a scoop underneath. We got a scoop.
It's the hand on ass that really.
That's what I thought.
I do know what you're talking about. Obviously,
you remember? Okay.
Of course, there's not an ass I miss, but I do think that the jump scoop sold it for me.
Yes, I thought maybe the angle, because I know you're an angle gal. But once you bring somebody else into Ass of the Week, like the ass.
Well, the ass is being worshipped during the section that is
Correct.
Ass of the Week.
Correct.
You know?
So it's a double whammy.
I had to give it to her. I had to give it to her.
As you should. As you should. And I was also like, cool, they're going to bang. Great.
Yeah, and then they definitely
I also like how they just didn't even discuss any of that. Like, there wasn't like, they just saw him kiss in bed. I'm like, we not even gonna like hint, like, with like any sort of like, you know, like they do on The Bachelor sometimes. There's like B-roll that is like sex adjacent.
Or like when the girl goes up and like shuts the door and they watch her shut the. Yeah, we got none of that.
Bye.
Again, I just want to remind you, Destination X post production, you are on at 10 p.m. You can do this stuff.
Do it.
We're getting there. We got an ass that you didn't crop out that I'm pretty sure you thought about doing.
No, they asked. They asked Editor X to do it. And Editor X, listening to the number one, knowing that this is Editor X's favorite podcast, goes, I can't let that down. If this shot is in here and it is cropped in, they will hunt me down and harm me. And you're right, we would have.
100% we would have. No questions asked. They wake up in the morning, they see the Sound of Music lady dancing in the hillside. At that point, you should have gotten it already, but okay.
I love that, like, for a little behind the scenes look, for production who definitely listens. A lot of work went into that. So you guys should appreciate that. Lots of work on the angle. We got to get the drone. We got to do the drone shot. We got to make them stand there for a while.
Alone.
Lots of work went into just that one shot. Also, last week, we didn't talk about this. They had to print that whole ass billboard that they put on the side of the road for the train, and nobody got to see it. And they had to do the shot and be like, hey, the art department spent like $20K.
That's so true. You're so right.
We spent like $20K on the design, the build out, the putting it on the side of the road.
Shouts out to the art department. We appreciate what you're trying to do. You are heard and you are important. We then go back on the bus. Everybody tells everybody everything.
Guys,
what are we doing?
There's like 7 of you left. Why are you telling everybody everything?
This was the first episode that like I got like the aerial shots and I was like, oh shit, like we're getting to the end, you know?
Yeah. That was right. There were 7 people going into this episode, right?
Mm-hmm. We're down to 6 at the end of this. That's crazy.
And you know the alliances except for the Rick thing. Like, you know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, why are we telling people shit? I'm not telling anybody shit. If it's me and Nick's on the bus,
Morgan,
he mentioned it.
He got
I'm
pissed.
sure production's like, everybody's saying everything.
Yeah. Jeffrey D. Morgan's pissed when we got to the map room and everybody got it. He's like, clearly, no one wants to fucking keep the information to themselves. But I wanna touch on the second challenge daily situation that happened.
Okay.
Nothing more terrifying than a bunch of women dressed the way they are coming over a hill and yodeling at you. Are we
I
in
would have been
midsummer?
backed on the bus so quickly after the night in the
Why is everything so scary this episode?
The night in the dungeon?
Yeah.
Where Janae was like, nope, get me an Uber out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm also not putting past her that she did actually ask for that. The melting Berthas or whatever they were called come over the hill? No, thank you.
Belting, not melting.
What are they? Belting?
Belting
Berthas?
Berthas, not melting
care.
Berthas. But
I wrote
honestly,
melting.
equally terrifying.
came over that hill, and I was like, I've seen a movie like this, and I turned it off.
I get terrifying. It was fun. I was scared. I didn't like it, but I'm sure other people did. I didn't like it.
I thought it was going to be some cows coming over there, you know?
Cows,
and then they were ladies.
Cows would have been real cool.
So
it was a bunch of women holding horseshoes. Why horseshoes? Great question. Never answered. Put it on the list.
Rick wins the yodeling challenge.
Rick
and also
fucking books it. Rick's like, I'm running, bitch.
He wanted to show you that he's also an athlete.
You want to see some real speed, bitch? Watch Rick get a horseshoe in his hand.
Can I be honest?
Go ahead.
I thought for sure somebody was rolling an ankle, tearing an ACL, something.
Well, it seemed like that was his number one priority, was the fact to not do that. And he still won.
Shane, like, took off out of the gate on that, like, running towards the women. I'm like, oh, he's blowing out an ACL. This looks like very uneven ground. Very uneven ground. You know, there's a hole somewhere. Somebody's rolling an ankle easily in
honestly,
this and taking a digger right to the face.
You're right. They should be counting their lucky stars that they didn't have an issue. It's like running off course on the challenge, you know? You can't do that. Can't do that.
But here's the thing. You can then blame everyone.
But yourself for running off course.
Right.
That you decided
this was going to be the year that I won.
Rick then, because he wins, gets to pick another person to save from the map room. And Rick, in classic Rick fashion, does the best thing he could possibly do and goes for Biggie. An absolute elite player move.
Explain yourself, Mex. Yeah.
I think Biggie was the best strategic move no matter what. Everybody likes him. No one's going to really get that mad. He can't expose his alliance to Peter and Janae. And quite frankly, Biggie's the only one from the other side that he's at all friendly with.
That's true.
So he's showing his alliance to the original people on the bus. He's not pissing everyone off by going with one of the two that came on recently. So to me, it was a no-brainer that it was Biggie.
It was either Biggie or Mac.
But
I thought that might be a thing, but I also thought it might be a bridge too far with 7 people left.
I think everyone's friends with Biggie. I think what Biggie said about Mac is true, that Mac only talks to people she trusts. I feel like Biggie talks to everyone.
Yes, which is what you have to do in a game like this.
Yeah, and I think for everyone else to look at that, they're thinking, oh, Biggie is on my team, so he's safe, so he'll help me. Like, everyone's thinking that, right? Like, yeah. If Rick had given it to Janae or Peter, they would have been like, oh, no, like, it's like that whole, like, little smaller team has all the power right now, right? But
yeah,
I thought it was a no-brainer that it was Biggie. But then I got excited, and then I got pissed.
Okay.
Biggie tells Loyalty.
Who doesn't know where they are, by the way. It seems like both him and Allie did not know where they were.
I think they were just so caught up in the love of that castle and the love making that they made in said castle that they just were like, oh, Sound of Music, maybe this place, cool, that sounds good, we're done.
Yeah, let's bang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pissed. Because as he says later, I do think he is the reason that Mac is not on this bus anymore.
Yes, and we can discuss that and get back into the other part. He is, however, what was the other option here?
He plays dumb. He's not going into the map room, so he can't.
But then Shane, who's his number one, right? Theoretically, from everything I've seen on the season, his number one is gone.
Yeah, but you got to think there's 4 people going into the map room. Peter and Janae, who you don't want to win.
Right.
Mac, who you've said numerous times is the smartest person and like probably best actual like mental ally that you have.
Yes.
And then Shane, who, in all honesty, what has he brought to this at all? Has Shane ever won anything, given information, other than information that Allie could have told him, and also if he's tight with Mac, he's getting that information from Allie anyways. Shane is a 0.
Yeah, I don't see what he's bringing in terms of the information because everybody's saying like, and then Shane's on my team.
Exactly. Like, I think physically he's strong, but this isn't like the physical part of this game is 10-15% at most. Like, I think Mac has that same exact amount of physical with a hell of a lot more brains.
Well, and that explains why Peter did what Peter did.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand why Biggie's upset because he's like, I telling Shane that basically got him out. What, again, I don't understand is after you heard that everybody had the same place, you going, well, I got her eliminated. I'd be like, okay, well, fuck, how did they know that? If I didn't tell Shane's out. Mm-hmm. So then I would feel bad that theoretically I didn't give him the information. So either way here, it would have been like, damn, I should have told him.
Yeah.
He went home. Or, damn, I screwed Mac in all of this.
I think for me, it's just because I don't want loyalty to be on the bus anymore.
Yes. And I thought we were maybe going to do that. But again, to me, the editing at the beginning, Mac is my favorite person.
A bit of
I'm now going, oh, I see what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you've done to Mac. This is what you're about to do to Mac. As soon as he told Biggie the information, I then knew Mac was out. Even though I knew she was the city, but I also knew there was going to be a twist.
Because they did tell us about the twist, yeah.
So this is where it all comes back. So not knowing there was a twist, I'm sitting here going, what the fuck is going to happen?
Yeah. We then send everyone to the map room. It's a tie because everyone knows everything. Jeffrey D. Morgan pissed. Fucking livid about it. And then they go, let's pull some trivia out of our fucking asshole and ask you the one thing that I don't even know if it was actually mentioned in Jeffrey D. Morgan's voiceover. I don't know when it was mentioned, but they asked the year that this creepy ass castle was built.
Yes.
I'm fucked.
You gotta go deep. What would have been your guess?
I thought all of like the 1100 guesses and stuff were way too early. I would have gone like 14.
Yes, that's what Peter did, 1450, and the answer actually was 1191.
I know, and I'm sitting there like these idiots.
When they said like 15, you're like, these idiots are dumb. Today said 1580.
I know.
For 1850.
18.
I'm like,
yeah. I'm like, girl,
just off by 700 years.
I kind of want to live in a world where I think that's like a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this castle, I don't know, maybe like 200 years ago? I don't know.
I feel like if you asked her when like the Earth started, she'd be like, it couldn't be. I mean, maybe like 1500s.
Yeah. Like at 0, right? Like 0? That's why it starts at 0? I don't know.
God love her. I think she's great.
Peter correctly guessed 1450. Now, this
300 years off plus
is the time, for the first time in Destination X history, we enter the conspiracy corner. Now, before we go over to the corner, for those of you who are not familiar with the corner is where we go to talk about what we really think happened in a conspiracy type world, and we whisper because we don't want it to get out.
Yeah, we can't let the people know.
We can't let the people know, especially production, who is definitely listening to this.
Absolutely, there.
Mix, you ready to go in the corner for the first time Destination X history?
I'm prepared. Let's hike into the corner.
Hey, what's going on? Oh my God. The corner is very worldly over here. It's like very European.
I have to clean off the cobwebs.
Yeah, but it's like it's a European conspiracy corner. Very cool. Great job, art department.
The only thing I see is Jennifer Aniston and Eva Longoria.
That's true. We should get rid of that. It doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay. Here's my conspiracy. In a normal situation, because everything I know about Destination X so far is whoever's the furthest away
Yes.
from the answer or the city
Yes.
is eliminated.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here going, oh, Janae is a casual 300 years away from the next closest guest. Janae should be gone. And then I remember that they keep promoting Janae on Love Island promos on Peacock, and there's no way they're gonna get rid of Janae.
They need these reality stars to
Yes.
stay in so that people will keep watching the show.
The Janae fans would have immediately left the show
Absolutely, they will.
if Janae was gone, and they can't have that. So it's like, hey, how about if Peter's the closest, and Peter can pick someone to go home because, he was just arguing with Shane. So we'd have that drama element too. Like, that's a great reality moment, right? Like, he comes back and votes the guy who was just yelling off. That's great. I'll never pick anybody other than him.
And that's when I say, you didn't watch Traitors.
Unbelievable. This is for sure what happened.
1,000,000%.
They left it open. They'd be like, okay, we'll see. And then Janae was the furthest away. They're like, okay, we can't do that. we really, she wasn't even on the first 2 episodes. We can't have her on for legitimately 3 episodes and she doesn't talk to anybody. And the one fisticuff she gets in, we can't even put on air.
Yeah, and they knew that Peter wasn't going to vote Janae off either.
Yes. So they were like, okay, that saves us. Perfect scenario for us. We'll do this because that still gets us what we want.
I'd hate to say this, Steven. I don't think this is conspiracy. I think this is real.
I think that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened, everybody.
1,000,000%.
Like, I didn't even really need to go to the corner, but for legal reasons, I went to the corner.
You were right to go to the corner to protect the right reality. But let's be honest, people.
100% what happened.
After losing Josh episode 1, they're like,
100% what
fuck.
happened. We've been promoting Janae. Janae and Peter, we had to pay large amounts of money for.
Yep.
There's no way we're going to only have her on for, what episode is this, 6?
Yeah. And I think she came on 4.
She came, I think they showed her at the end of 3.
Yeah.
Came on the bus for 4, would literally be gone in 2 episodes.
And they were banking on Josh at least making it to episode 4 so that they had some sort of reality TV star to like send them.
Yes.
But when he was so fucking off, they couldn't swing it.
They're like,
Classic Josh. Classic Josh.
You should have researched more about Josh. You should have known he would have fucked it up right out of the gate.
Your guys is swinging a miss here. Okay, so then we find out Peter gets to make the decision as to who is leaving the bus.
Uh-huh.
I'm irate.
Yeah.
Okay. And I understand the strategic move of Mac. I do. And I like Mac a lot. I'm not even saying this because I like Mac and wish that she was on more. Shane is sitting so much prettier than Mac is. Shane has Biggie giving him everything and also has Allie giving him everything. Allie's connected to Mac. Biggie's connected to Mac. Losing Mac isn't going to hit Shane as it. I think their little like bubble would have been hit a lot harder if they had lost Shane. Allie would have been devastated.
Correct.
Mac would have had to been focused on Allie like being devastated.
Yeah.
Biggie loses his number 1. That opens the door of opportunity for Peter to slide into that spot as like the guy for Biggie.
Yeah.
To me, if he had picked Shane, I still personally would have thought it was a good strategic move. I think they probably would have written it off as an emotional move, but he hasn't done anything and is coasting through this. Coasting. Peter's never going to get anything out of Shane because Shane's alliance is so heavy with Biggie and Allie. He's never going to get in there. If you take Shane out, there's a possibility of you sliding in with Mac, of you sliding in with Biggie. I don't think Allie would have forgiven you because you took her fake boyfriend away from her. But to me, it's a bigger hit to the bus and having people upset with you to take Mac out than it would have been to take Shane out. That's my personal opinion.
I applaud you for that absolute gem of a take. You backed it up with facts and figures, and honestly, how dare you? Should be all
also,
emotional.
Fuck that. I wanted Mac to win this shit, man. She was locked in. But also, I get that too. Like, is Mac the strongest player on the bus?
100%.
Yes, but I
other than
still
Peter, 100%.
I still think it was too early to take that shot.
I don't. So I'm of the mindset that this was the correct move in the moment.
Okay.
I think Peter, again, being on Traitors, the #1 reality show right now. By the way, what a fantastic job Peacock and NBC are doing in reality TV, especially Peacock right now. Mm-hmm. Peacock was almost forgotten about as a streamer for the longest time.
Yeah. And then they came Dynasty.
Out of... Say what?
And they have McBee Dynasty.
They had McBee Dynasty, which is now on McBravo. So they're like, we have Traitors and Love Island. We don't need this.
Yep.
Respectfully, you do, but...
You do.
They were forgotten about as a streamer. And the two most talked about reality shows of the past 2 years, they have them.
Yeah.
And what I love, I know this is a Love Island take, any other network would be doing 2 seasons of Love Island and 2 seasons of Traitors a year.
100%. They'd be dragging that shit out. They'd be overexposing it 100%.
They'd be, I'm going to use this as a verb, they'd be foxing it.
ABCing it too. They'd be putting an old people version of it.
All of them. All of them would have done this.
Yep.
And NBC and Peacock more specifically said, hey, it's better for us if we don't run this into the ground. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to hold. Now, whether that remains true and whether we don't get like a winter Love Island, like a winter island, which would be hilarious, or just go to film it on Australia. I don't know. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Would be great. And that might happen because there might be enough push and there's enough money maybe flowing in to do it. But anywho, I thought this was the best move because I think Peter, being on Traitors, sits there and goes, I think Rick is really smart and he's working with me, so I think I can get to the final with Rick. And the other person who's sneaky good is Mac. So I'm worried about 3 people. I don't know if I'm necessarily worried about Biggie as much right now because he's got his own bunch of people. But I think Rick is super smart. I'm obviously super smart. And Mac. So I'm just going to get rid of one of the people that I think is on my same level.
Yeah.
And we're good. Plus, I think Mac is also closer to sharing information with other people that are not Rick and him. So I think that was more of the move. I think strong. I'm worried. I should get rid of this because now I'm closer to every other source of information, especially as soon as Rick gives Biggie that win. He goes, okay, Biggie's going to come to him. He'll give that information to me. Mac is this wild card who I don't think anybody really saw in any of the camp. So that would scare me too, honestly.
I don't think Mac was, I want to be clear. I don't think Mac was a bad move.
Yeah.
I personally think Shane was a better move, but Mac was a great strategic move. It was well done. I do think everyone should kiss Peter's fucking ass for taking Mac out.
100%.
I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm curious if they're going to be... Rick clearly was like, Peter came through on the Alliance, like did a massive move for the Alliance. But
again, it's a game. It's a game.
Other people will, if they'll hold it against him, like, you know, everyone held the Josh elimination against Rick for quite some time. You know, I'm curious.
But who else is the move? Who else? So who's going to be mad at this? Biggie's now mad at himself, right?
Well, Biggie's, I think, mad at himself and also probably mad at Peter because it's still, yes, he gave that information, but still, it was still Peter that said the name. Right. I think Allie's going to be very upset.
She's already upset with him.
Yes, and then Shane's going to follow suit in that because he wants to put his dick in something. So that's
But he shook his hand, Mix, at the end. They hugged it out. Like bras. like bras.
He's
Don't
so
roll your
full of
eyes. They hugged it out like bras do.
shit. He's full of shit. He's full of it.
Full of shit. Full of shit.
I think that this is going to be the nail in the coffin, and Rick can no longer play both sides, and Rick is going to have to go with Peter and Janae on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rick makes the decision to go with the other 4, and they knock out Peter and Janae. Because it's about, in my thought process here, we're about to split 3v3 here.
Yeah, it is 3v3, so it lines up very well with like the alliances kind of at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rick is in the best position right now because he can lean either way depending on what happens. And honestly, if he wins safety, he's good. But again,
Rick
it all
wins
comes
this
down.
game,
It all comes down to that room. If you know where you're at, you're great. Unless everybody gets it right. Now, here's the one thing I want to say. Some tea from our interview with Ty. Ty told us, this should have been part of the conspiracy corner as well. Ty told us her understanding was if everyone guessed the same city, it would come down to time.
Which again makes a lot more sense. I wonder what the time frames were.
I'm not going to whisper that, but I'm going to guess. We got our answer. So,
Interesting.
Anywho, Mac is sadly gone. We'll be talking to Mac tomorrow. So at the end of this podcast, you'll hear my interview with Mac.
Yeah.
Hearing Mac say, I don't get emotional, but I was having so much fun, crushed me.
Yeah. I think that was the hardest exit to watch while I was super sad about Rachel and also Kim leaving. This one, you could tell the heartbreak. It hurt to watch. And then for her, the face she made when Jeffrey D. Morgan said that Biggie told Shane.
I try to put myself in her shoes in that moment. And I think they're good. I think they talk. I don't know if I could ever talk to that person again.
It's tough because it wasn't I think if I was in her position, I could find a way to forgive that because it wasn't a direct move against her. Like the Ty situation, I don't know if I would forgive somebody for that, but like the Mac situation, it wasn't like he told Shane to get Mac out.
Yeah, he didn't say to Peter, vote Mac out.
And he didn't give Shane the destination to like.
So literally like 4 things had to go right in order for that to play out. And it just happened to play out in that.
I think it's a lot more forgivable in that situation. And I am sure the second Biggie got off that bus, he was in her DMs trying to call her and apologize because he just seems like a genuinely good person. And I could see him making a strategic move like that later, but I do not think that was the case in this situation. But maybe we'll have to ask Mac that if she thinks it was a strategic play or not.
Yeah, what does Mac think? Is Mac okay with that? The other thing I wanted to say along with that was her saying something I learned is it's okay to get close to people. Love that. Oh, hold on. I got to do this one, right? We do this one now?
Yes.
Do that one. Do that one. In case you're old and you don't know what that is, it's a little heart.
It's a little one.
It's a little one. Small.
It's so small.
It's so small.
An incredible episode. I really thought was great. Again, if they had buried the lead as they should have, I think it would have been a knockout episode. But it was good. It was
not the
really
way it
good.
Went. Not exactly the way it went. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very sad. I think what we have to do now, Mix, is we have to finish up this episode by doing the following things.
Go ahead.
I need to give shout outs to some special donations. Now, you should not be leaving yet because, again, you're going to hear from Mac just after this. There's 2 great things that are about to happen. We had some people do some donations recently on the YouTube, which you're more than welcome to do. And we did not give them shout outs. So I have to give some shout outs. I'm scrolling back.
I didn't know we got them.
Yeah, I didn't either until I started digging back. Obviously, I mentioned Mr. Moneybag Morales had come back in, gave us a 20, and I was back in the country. Shouts out, old school Mr. Moneybag Morales. Also, our good friend Dreadhead gave us a $25 donation
Oh, wow.
and asked us, you should recap the snake. Think you guys would enjoy it. And no, I'm not a little above bribery to make that happen, if not a full podcast.
Was the snake one of the seasons that we were looking at doing instead of Destination X?
I think we did, like, I saw it as like a list of like summer shows, and I think I had shown it to you, and you were like, oh my God.
we did look at it. There was a reason that we felt Destination X was a better option.
Yes.
But it did look good.
It did look good. It's probably good. I feel like I feel like they had a specific. Is that the one with? I forget who the host is. I feel like there was a host that I was like, oh, that would be good for. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, last week we did ask something very specific. You guys lost something. You lost Bernard.
Oh, speaking of, he's going crazy underneath me. Bernard. What's this? Oh, come here. Yes.
Oh, it's a churro stick. You guys have earned Bernard having a churro stick. So it's time to enjoy some Bernard content. Bernard gets a full screen treatment here. And maybe I will put some...
Caught him.
Bernard, where are you going? Put some amazing...
And we begin. All over his nose. They did this for you, buddy. Because we got a podcast review. Steven, do you want to read the podcast review while we get this?
I will. Our first one
Smells so good.
comes from Whitney 923. Best TI podcast and now Destination X. 5-star. Love this podcast. And I'm torn every week between rushing to listen and saving it so it won't be over.
Oh,
Love
that's
the nicknames.
so sweet.
Love the ass of the week. Love it all. All the yelling, please.
Me and Bernard appreciate you. Say thank you. Okay,
Bernard, and guess what? You have one more review.
Bernard, a second one.
And this is titled, Show Us Mr. B. You are Mr. B, King B.
That's you, buddy.
And this says, let me be the one to tell you the number one is the number one in my book. I've listened to all the podcasts for Destination X, and trust me when I tell you, yours is the best.
Oh,
I can't wait until you interview me because I have some tea to spill. Tell your audience that you can thank Professor Rick for giving them some more cat content.
Professor Rick, we love you. Yay, Professor Rick. Say hi, Professor Rick. Oh, goodness. Okay, wait, you got it on the microphone.
No.
I need you to get that. Okay. I need you to
It
get
finishes with also the professor. Oh. Hold for sound.
Thanks, bud. Okay, so there's a little bit more.
Also, the professor needs that Ass of the Week award. Well,
don't get mad at us, Professor. Trust me, I'm looking for it.
yeah. That obviously comes from our good friend.
Tell those birds you love that are AKA drones to get a nice ass shot of you. And me and Bernard are there.
Look at King B. What a great day for King B. Congratulations for doing what you do.
Yay!
Look how happy and proud Bernard is. He wants to run and tell all of his friends that don't live in the house that he got a delicious churro stick from all of you.
He's so excited. He just can't wait to tell everybody about it. Thank you guys for the reviews. We greatly appreciate them. Thank you also for the donations on YouTube that helps us out a ton. You have no idea.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, Bernard would not be fed. So,
yeah.
Ow. Okay.
Bernard can go now. Next up is our interview with Mac.
Yes.
Stay tuned for that. It's about to start. Other than that, make sure you're doing everything that Mixie told you about. Leave a review, comment, share.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribing is huge. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're on our way. We're above 800 now. We're pushing forward. We love that. We love you, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best part of this show is we're getting to interview. There's such a small cast. We're getting to talk to all these people.
I know.
And the longer we've done it, it gets better. Ladies and gentlemen, Here's Mac.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, and hopefully not the only time ever, the person who you all love and some of you hate for reasons we can't figure out. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the many stars of this show, shout out casting, Mac is with the number one. Mac, welcome to the number one.
I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. I also loved that intro.
Thank you.
Also,
yeah, much.
I don't understand why people don't like me either. I got several comments. My favorite one, though, I had one that called me creepy specifically, and that one I was like, oh, okay. Like, okay, I can get unlikable. You think I'm a psychopath or something like that. Sure. But creepy, that feels different. That feels a little more personal.
That does feel more personal, and also like you have to have something to back that up. You just can't say that person like comes off creepy. They have to like show you creepy behavior in order to like kind of get that. So that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I agree with you, Stephen.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're off to a good start, and we both agree on that. Here's something we're not going to agree on.
Okay, cool.
Don't know how you're trying to pass off that you don't know who Heidi Klum was.
Okay, let me clear this once and for all.
Thank you. I'm going to sip on some coffee as you tell me this story.
I know who Heidi Klum is in the sense that like I know her name. I know she's a Victoria's Secret model, and I knew she was married to Seal at some point, I think. So those are the three important things. When I saw her face, I did not recognize her, and that's more of what I meant. I know the woman, I didn't know the face. So please.
Shout it from the mountaintops, everybody. Mac does know who Heidi Klum
is. Yes.
Thank God. Yes, sometimes, if you haven't seen a photo in a while, maybe it's a little different, especially if they're in a mirror. You know what I mean? Yeah,
in the middle of the woods. I wasn't expecting to have to identify models at that point in time in the game. So that is from me. I should have quickly reviewed all the Victoria's Secret models before coming on this show. I should have known better. But unfortunately, that is one, flashcard deck that I didn't get to.
Seems like an absolute lapse in your judgment. And that's okay. We'll allow that to slide because what I just understood today, and I have not thought about this yet.
Okay.
You're clearly one of our favorites from this show.
God.
Our other big show that we recap, The Challenge, has Michelle. Michelle and you share a last name.
No way.
Yeah. Same spelling, same everything. She's a Survivor champion. So I'm thinking there's some sort of television show that the both of you can do, or at least some sort of podcast where you just...
At the very minimum, a podcast.
Very minimum, because everybody can do it. Do you think there's something in the lineage that makes you guys just be awesome and fantastic?
I don't think there's any other deduction that you could make. There's just too much evidence. You've got Fitzgerald. That's it. You don't really need.
That's all you need. Yeah. That's all you need. Lawyered. You just got lawyered, everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
Easy as that.
3 years of law school, so I can make really strong arguments just like that. But no, I mean, if you look back many generations in the Fitzgeralds, I'm sure you'll see nothing but strong reality competition competitors. And so I think there is something to be said about that. I'd love to get on probably the number one with her. Maybe we can kind of discuss it. We can talk about strong grandparents or aunts that we maybe both have. I don't know. I've never met this woman. I've never watched that show, so I don't really know what she's up to, but I'm sure we've got a lot to talk about.
I'm sure you do. And that's the great part. Let's get to this week's episode that we just watched. Unfortunately, you did go home.
Yep.
And as you're off the bus, Mr. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the 3-name king, it's just like, she already doesn't feel good. Let me just throw some salt in that wound and let her know that Biggie was the one who basically told some information that may have got you ousted.
Yeah.
It looked like it hit you hard. How long did you hold on to that hurt? And is he still technically on your shit list in some way?
I was so shocked, which is almost kind of shocking because I knew he and Loyalty had, a strong alliance. Of course I know that. But I felt super close to Biggie and I felt like I trusted him and I knew Shane was going Vienna. That was the last I'd heard. And so to hear it was Biggie that did that, I couldn't believe it. They probably had to, we had to keep redoing those kind of confessionals because I couldn't get more than 4 words out, and I would just be like, Biggie? I couldn't complete a sentence. I was so flabbergasted. I've forgiven him. It was nice to see on camera how much he regretted it. Cause he's told me that he was like, oh, I was really upset. I couldn't believe I did that. And it was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But now like seeing he really was upset, that does make me feel good. I'm glad he was upset.
I imagine that was just like one of the biggest. I mean, there was a lot of twists on this season so far, but I guess to you, was that the thing that kind of surprised you most? Because there was a lot of things built into the show that I'm sure you had an understanding when you were coming to the show. Okay, I understand how a reality show works, but was that like the biggest, like, excuse me, what now that you had?
The tiebreaker aspect?
Yeah. Like, oh, we're going to do this. And then he did that. Or is there something earlier in the season you're like, what are we doing now?
I think this tiebreaker plus the, hey, Biggie, you're eliminated if you don't convince somebody to go into another country were the biggest, like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not on the like bullet point rules list that I got. That feels like you just kind of made that up last second. I think both of them were like cool and interesting and made for good TV and stuff like that. So happy those were included, but both of them were like, what? Even the tiebreaker, like, that there's a possibility of a tiebreaker, and we didn't know what the tiebreaker would be ever. But I kind of assumed, even in this tiebreaker, okay, whoever is the most incorrect, that's going to be the person that goes home. So then, like, the double twist, like, now Peter has the power to pick somebody, was like, what?
Listen, you obviously haven't listened to our episode yet because we recorded it last night. You'll get my opinion in a segment I like to call Conspiracy Corner. Okay. So you'll get the full understanding of that when you listen, and we can I can just send you a voice memo so you can hear it before all that. But we have our thoughts on that. You were also very close during the Peter and Loyalty argument about the situation, if you will, about morals in a reality television competition. What was your standpoint of that, like watching that? Because we've all seen one of these on TV, but to like sit there and like see it going down, you must have been like, I think there was one cut where you were just like, yes.
See, I'm so glad you asked about this, because this was one of the hardest things for me to not see on this show, because Biggie and I were crying from laughter during this entire exchange, like absolutely bawling from laughter. And we were like, oh, this is going to be so funny for, like they're going to have this serious argument and they're going to cut to us just crying. Like it's going to be so, and then and that wasn't in there. But I just thought it was like, I mean, that conversation went on for 10 minutes, and it was about the moral compass. It was about locations in Germany. At one point, it was about whether the moon landing was real. Like it went through a number of different topics, and it was just like, what are you guys even fighting about? Like, you guys were never going to be friends. Like, who cares?
But they could be bros.
Well, now they've had 17 different handshakes, I think. So they're probably good now. I think we'll see. But it was just kind of like, what is happening? But I loved it. I thought it was so funny. And then when Peter had the power, I was like, initially I was like, oh, he's going to go with Shane because they hate each other. But then Peter took a really long time to think about it. And then I was like, oh, shoot, he's not going to make an emotional decision. He's going to make a good decision. And that unfortunately means me.
Okay, so let's talk about that. As unfortunate as that was, do you sit here and like kind of take a little bit of pride to that this like player who did Traitors understood that you were actually a bigger threat than making an emotional decision? Because I would just be like, fucking right, take me out, because I'm definitely the biggest threat on this bus and everybody knows it.
Yeah. It was definitely, episode 1, I talk about I'm coming onto this show for ego reasons. And I think there's no way better to leave, aside from being the victor, no other better way to leave than being hand selected as a threat to walk off the bus. So I was really, really happy in that sense. Like, I got to leave with pride. I didn't lose because I didn't know something, and I certainly didn't lose because I got bamboozled by a competitor. And so I was really happy in that sense. Wish it had happened a few episodes later, perhaps, but that was my ideal exit. So I was very thankful to Peter for that.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it's a no-name person, you're just like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, somebody who was on the Traders, who was a threat himself on the Traders, who got pushed out, I'd be like, oh, yeah, and also he's Pilot Pete, you know, reality TV loyalty here. Let's talk about the alliances, because at least from our side of it here, and we talked about it, it seemed like maybe you were floating around. Was this a strategy that you had coming in, or were there like unseen things that you were like, technically I was like second on this person's list and second on this person's list?
So first and foremost, I think I was playing by myself. You know, almost went home in Switzerland because I had relied on information from somebody who I thought I could trust, Allie. And so after that, I was like, if I go home, I want it to be because I didn't know something. I don't want it to be because I got bad information. So, you know, I'm going to always put myself first and trust myself first. Beyond that, I really, really liked Biggie as a person, like thought he was really funny, and also thought he was a really big threat. So I was trying to get close to him, starting like probably episode 3, maybe kind of end of episode 2. But I knew Shane came before me. So I was like kind of number 2 on Biggie's list in my eyes. I was also working with Shane, Allie, and Biggie kind of in general to try to get Peter and Janae off. Like that was kind of a group goal. I also was just like trying to be chill with everybody because I knew I was a threat. I knew there was generally a target on my back, but I didn't ever want it to be a tie situation where the whole bus comes together to be like, we want this person off because we don't want them around anymore. So I was like, I've got to be chill with everybody. My goal kind of in starting in Germany was to just kind of be really chill and nice with Peter and Janae. And that way I could kind of share information back with Biggie and Shane and Allie. And then also I could potentially lie to them, but also like I knew Rick was working with them. So it was kind of like, they're going to believe Rick over me. So there was never really going to be.
Yeah. So it becomes that thing, because you're also sitting on the bus and literally the only thing you're doing is talking to each other. You're seeing people split off into conversations. You're like, am I part of this? Do I get to know what they're talking about? Okay. Let's move to the last thing, because I know the time is tight.
No.
What's life like right now for you? Because you're killing the content creation game.
Oh, thanks.
Are you enjoying doing that type of stuff? Because from the videos I'm watching, I'm like, oh, this person's an absolute effing natural at doing this. What's life now like off the bus for you?
I've never been happier in my whole life. Like I feel so like, I know I had that big emotional thing, and I really do mean that. Like I feel like I changed so much as a person, and I just feel so much happier and lighter. So there's that aspect of like, I feel that greatness being off the bus. I also, I'm loving doing content creation. Like I think it's so much fun. I think it's so silly. I like making people laugh. I love hearing myself talk. So getting to do both of those things at the same time, absolutely incredible. So like, you know, hopefully I'm able to kind of grow that a little bit. But I still have to lawyer every now and then. So that's the rub.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a rub. Very last thing, because it is a traditional question that everybody has to ask everybody who's been on one reality show. If you did another reality show, what would you pick? And I want you to pick something that's not like, oh, I'd like to do The Traders or Survivor. Maybe something off the board that people are like, I don't know if I've heard that show before.
Done. Easy. I want to do Alone.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
I don't have a lot of survival skills. I can build a fire. You didn't see that in Switzerland, but I can build a fire. I don't really know how to hunt or trap, but I reckon those are skills that you give me one book, one YouTube video, and I've got that skill set. Okay. But I think I would, first of all, would love the quiet. Would love to just kind of be like, hey, nobody talked to me for 100 days. I think I would do really well, assuming I can learn, some basic survival skills.
Right. Yeah. You just like go out there and die, and it's like, well, she thought she was going to do a good job. But she died alone, which is kind of what I think secretly they're hoping for on that show.
I think you get a lot of views.
Okay, I like that. It was a good pull right off the top of your head, and that's why you're an absolute legend. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we get to see you soon. Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.